Well, welcome everybody to Morning Flow. Thanks for joining me. I'm Leo Bray coming to you from Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center in Palm Springs. Remember to visit us online at urbanyoga.org or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook to check out our class schedule and visit the tip jar where you can make contributions to support our Zoom classes. We'll start out sitting today. You don't have to sit the way that I'm sitting. Sit so that you're comfortable. Switching my legs because this knee acts up, and if I put it in front of the other leg, then it acts up less. So find your comfortable seat. Kneeling is okay too to start if you prefer to kneel. Feel your grounding contact. Where are you touching the floor? Think about the length of your spine. So sit up tall without being rigid or stiff. Rest your hands wherever you like. They might rest on the ground, might rest on your legs. Palms up can be for receptivity. Palms down for grounding. Close your eyes if you want. And just to start, notice your breathing. Just by observing your breathing, it starts to get deeper and slower. Notice the movements that come with your breathing. Feel into the sensations that come with these movements. Extend your awareness outward from this focus on your breathing. And take in whatever other sensations are present in your body as we start out here. As you've come to this comfortable stillness, what information is your body sending to you? Make particular note of anything that maybe doesn't feel so good this morning. If you've got any stiffness or soreness making itself known, you might think of sending your breath to those places. Also, just making note of what doesn't feel good so that you can keep it in mind during practice. Remember that you're welcome to skip or modify anything I'll be offering. It's all optional except for the breathing. Consider all the cues to be suggestions. Anytime your mind wanders during practice, just gently redirect, come back to noticing your breathing, back to noticing what's going on in your body, remembering to take care of yourself by modifying as needed, finding the practice that's best for you. These are our shared intentions. Maybe you have an intention specific to yourself that you'd wish to set, keep in mind during practice. Let that take hold for a few breaths, jotting down that additional mental note. With our intentions in place, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Let your eyes open up if they're still closed. Let your chin come down towards your chest. Roll your left ear towards your left shoulder. Let your head tip back. Right ear towards right shoulder, chin back to center. Slow, easy circles. Feeling into what's going on in your neck. Sometimes necks are stiff in the morning, sometimes for a while after you get up. If you find a spot that feels particularly stiff, maybe you pause there and rock back and forth a little. When you finish the next circle, change direction. When you finish the next circle, look forward. Bring your hands out to the sides, rest your fingertips on the ground. Inhale, lift your left arm up alongside your ear. And as you exhale, reach across to the right. Feel for length from your left hip all the way up through those left fingertips. Let your head be wherever your neck is comfortable. With an inhale, bring yourself upright. As you exhale, bring your left hand down behind you. Bring your right hand across to your left leg. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, invite your body to twist some more. Just find out how much twist is enough for each side. Let yourself unwind, come back through center. Inhaling, raise your right arm up alongside your ear. As you exhale, reach across to the left. Inhale, come back up. As you exhale, come into the other seated twist. And inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, see about twisting some more. Come on back to center. And let's come up onto our hands and knees. Open your hands way up. Feel your whole palms on the floor. Shoulders above your wrists, hips above your knees. Cow and cat. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up. Let your head and tailbone come down. Just follow your breath. Maybe you notice the breath's getting longer and the movement's getting bigger. After your next exhale, come back to table with your spine parallel to the ground. Reach back, press into the ball of your right foot, and take a couple of breaths. Ease off the pressure on your foot. Slide it out to the side. Let it come in line with your hip. We start some gentle rocking. Exhale, sit back towards your heel a little. And inhale.
Leo, I can hear you, but I lost your video. I don't know.
Oh, goodness. Look at that. Let's see what we can do about that. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, we'll have an intermission. Have a seat or take child's pose while we record video. Okay. Well, that's unexpected and unwanted, but here we go. We adjust. So just to say what I'm doing during this pause, we had video on the laptop and audio on the phone, and the laptop has shut itself down. And rather than try to get it going again, we're just going to do the video on the phone as well. I don't remember if it was the same issue, but we had to do this once before. And a matter of getting the phone into a good position here. I think that's probably it. I might have to get up and move it at some point. Okay. If at any point you can't hear me, please let me know. I really can't see you now. So, all right. So we were here. And then we bring the right leg out to the side like this in line with the hip. This is what I was doing when the laptop crashed. Exhale, sit back towards your heel a little. And inhale, glide forward again. A little goes a long way. Be mindful of the sensation on the inner right thigh. This can be easy to overdo, and that spot will let you know. Don't go further than this. Maybe the movements grow a little bigger. We definitely want to be gentle. Here's a complex stretch going on. Next time you rock forward, pause with the rocking. Walk your hands forward. Make the complex stretch more complex. Let your head come down between your arms. So this is sort of like downward facing dog in your upper body. And then walk your hands over to the left. And we're not going to rock back and forth, just one little movement. Think of sending your left hip a couple inches towards your left heel. Push into your hands just a little. So great stretch in the shoulders, the upper arms. You might feel this in your sacrum, outer hip, the line between the sacrum and your outer hip, along the outsides of your leg. Slowly walk your hands back towards center line and bring them back in under your shoulders. Slide your foot back behind and bring your knee down again. And to do the other side, I just turn myself around. You don't need to do that. That just has to do with space constraints here. Reach back, press into your left foot. Take a couple breaths. Relax the pressure on your foot. Sweep it out to the side. Let it come to rest in line with your hip. Exhale, sit back a little. Inhale, come forward. And just feel that out. Remember to be mindful of the sensation on the inner left thigh. A little goes a long way. Next time you rock forward, pause with the rocking. Walk your hands forward. Let your head come down between your arms. Walk your hands over to the right. Give that little push into your hands. Take your time, walk your hands back to center and back in under your shoulders. And slide your foot back and bring your knee down. Step your right foot up between your hands and step your left foot up to meet it. Hang out in your forward fold, swaying back and forth, bending and straightening your legs. Arms hanging down heavy, head hanging heavy. Fingertips might drag on the ground. Hands might hang in the air. Rest on yoga blocks. Rest against the legs. A lot of folks like to hold their elbows like this. You might also clasp your hands at the base of your skull. Let the weight of your arms give some traction for your neck as you sway back and forth. If your arms aren't hanging down, let them hang down again. And gently shake your head no. And nod your head yes. Inhale, lift up halfway, press your hands to the front of your legs and push. Feel for the crown of your head reaching forward away from your tailbone. Exhaling, relax back down. Inhale, roll up to standing, hands overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let your hands hang at your sides. Lift your left shoulder towards your ear and shift it back and let it down. And your right shoulder up and back and down. Inhale, reach out to the sides. As you exhale, reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself, or if you like, take eagle arms. Intertwine your arms, press your palms together. If you're taking eagle, then lift your elbows and your hands and move them away from your face and your torso. Inhale, open your arms again. As you exhale, cross them the opposite way. Grab your shoulder blades or take eagle. Take a couple big breaths into the space between your shoulder blades. Inhale to open up. Exhale, let your arms down. Inhale your arms out and up. Interlace your fingers. Flip your palms up. Look up at your hands. Lift up your heart. With an inhale, bring yourself upright. As you exhale, bend to the right. Feel full length through both arms. Try not to lift your left heel off the ground. With an inhale, come back up through center. And as you exhale, bend to the left. Try to keep that right heel down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, let your arms come down. Start into some sun salutations. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands and step back to plank. Really find a nice plank shape Feel for your hips coming down in line with your shoulders and heels. Or if you opt for a shorter plank and let your knees down, hips come down in line with shoulders and knees. Exhaling, slowly lower all the way down, elbows in close. See how slow you can go. Then right down on your belly, untuck your toes, rest your chin. Press into your hands, inhale to lift your head and chest. Maybe just a little cobra to start, whatever height of heart opener is right for you each time we come through. Exhaling, push back up onto hands and knees, pass through table. Curl your toes under, press into your feet to lift your knees, press into your hands to lift your tail. Downward facing dog, pedal your feet up and down. Letting everything in the back of your body lengthen. Calves, hamstrings, glutes, all the way up the back, shoulders and arms. And pay some special attention today to hamstrings. Legs get tight with sitting a lot, and a lot of us have been sitting more these days. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step forward. So I'll add in some additional things today, some extra focus on stretching the backs of the legs. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, come down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to arms. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Plant your hands and step back to plank. When you're ready, exhale, lower halfway down. Drop your knees if you need to. Inhale, bring your heart forward, cobra, or maybe upward facing dog. Exhale, back and up to downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale to come forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Now we're going to pause here and explore a really neat trick for lengthening the backs of the legs. You're going to reach behind your legs and hold your elbows with your arms behind your legs. So a lot of bend in the knees to get there. And you're going to slowly lengthen your legs. So don't think about straightening your legs out. Not looking to lock knees or anything. You're just going to lift your tail, lengthen the legs to whatever degree feels okay for you. Find the edge of your comfort zone. We're going to spend about half a minute here. It may seem like a long time. Something I picked up from one of my anatomy teachers in yoga teacher training. Release your elbows, let your hands hang, bend your knees more. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold down. Let's go back up to standing. Inhale, roll to standing, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Now, generally what happens from doing that little 30-second move there is your subsequent forward folds go deeper and feel easier. So let's see. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale down. And just take notice if that felt different for you. It's okay if you can't tell or if it didn't. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Felt different to me, but listening to the body is an ever-developing skill. And bodies are all different. Some bodies respond differently. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, back and up. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Now this time when we get to downward dog, we'll explore some other things, some different stretches. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Plant your hands and step back to plank. If your arms get tired, you could go right from plank to down dog. Otherwise, exhale lower. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale back and up. Now, inhale, raise your right leg up. As you exhale, lower it and cross your ankles. So aim your right pinky toe over towards your left pinky toe. Maybe they touch, maybe they just come near each other. Bend into your left knee to get that right foot planted. And then sending your right heel down, bend your left knee more. This is a great stretch for your IT band, among other things. Focusing on the outside of the upper right leg and hip. Slowly start to send the left heel down, raise the right leg up again. Exhale, lower. And that's a long time on your hands. Inhale, bend your knees, come forward. Exhale. I said that in the wrong order. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Somehow my brain just swapped two lines in the cues. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold down. Plant your hands. Step back to your plank. We're all going to meet in down dog, whether you do this part or not, of lowering and bringing your heart forward. And arriving at down dog, same thing on the other side. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, lower it. Cross your ankles. Send your pinky toes towards each other. Bend into your right knee. Press your left heel down. Inhaling, start to send your right heel down. Raise your left leg. Exhale, lower your left leg. Take 3 cleansing breaths. Let your knees down and make your way to child's pose for a minute. Bring your big toes to touch. Widen your knees. Sit back toward your heels. Arms could reach forward. Let your head come down. Or arms can reach back by your feet to let your shoulders disengage. Make sure your head is on the ground or on something so your neck can disengage. So if your head doesn't reach the ground, you could stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. You could put a pillow or a yoga block or something else between your forehead and the ground. I'm playing with my phone while you're in your child's pose, changing a video setting so I can see things better on my screen. You can do a little side stretching here, variations for child's pose. Walk your hands over to the right Stack your left hand on top of your right, maybe. And lift your left hip, send it diagonally away from those hands. Relax. Walk your hands back through center and over to the left. Maybe stack your right hand on top of left. Raise your right hip, send it away from your hands. Relax, walk your hands back to center. Inhale, come up to table, and take your time when you're ready to make your way back to downward facing dog. And when we first get to downward dog, we do this pedaling up and down, walking the dog. A little variation you can do on that to feel into some more leg stretches is as you raise your heel, rock onto the tips of your toes and maybe the top of your toe. So 1 foot at a time. As you start to send that heel down, raise the other heel. And maybe your foot doesn't fold forward as far as mine does. That's okay. Just think of an extension of the usual pedaling the feet up and down and slowing it down. Noticing where you feel each part of that movement. Feeling the different parts of the legs. Rocking onto the top of the toes. And really feeling my calf. The stretching muscles out isn't just about lengthening them as they're opening up, but it's about feeling into the contraction as well when the muscle shortens and exploring that. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold down. We'll explore another bit of stretching here. Variation on forward fold is called gorilla pose. Lift your left foot, and with the back of your hand on the ground, slide your hand under your foot as far as you can. So I'm getting my tips of my toes right to my wrist crease. It's okay if you can't get that far. Lots of bend in the knee to get there. Don't strain your leg to get there. So maybe my thighs and my belly are touching here. And then I'm going to do the other foot and the other hand. So I'm standing on both of my hands. My toes are right at my wrist crease. It's okay if you're not that far with the hands under the feet. But you're standing on both your hands. And then you're going to slowly and gently explore lengthening the legs like we did when we were doing this arm bind earlier. We won't spend 30 seconds. A few breaths. Feeling this more in my glutes than I felt the arm bind variation. You might even bend one leg a little as you lengthen the other. Feel into the different sides. Then bend your knees a lot to start to come out. Rock up onto one heel, slide your hand out. Rock up on the other heel, slide your hand out. And now slowly stand up. And maybe shake your hands, because it feels good after you stand on your hands. Take a sip of my water. You can really heat up doing some of those things. We'll play with some balancing now. Got these legs and glutes all nicely stretched out and warmed up. We'll see about standing on one leg. Bring your hands to your heart. Set your eyes on something straight ahead that won't move. And shift your weight from one leg to the other with your feet planted. Bring the weight into your left leg. Let the knee stay soft and responsive. Start to raise your right knee. Now pressing your left thumb to your sternum, drop your right hand you're going to grab your foot or your leg. So I'm going to grab my big toe because that's what I like to do. You might also grab the inside of your foot, the outside of your foot, or your shin, or your calf, or in the back of your knee. So grab this leg or foot wherever you can, staying tall, long in the spine, hand pressing to the chest. Anytime you need to, you can come out of it. You might fall. You might drop your foot and lift it up again. Reach forward with that right heel, wherever you've got your hand. And maybe swing that leg and that arm to the side. And maybe, depending on how steady you feel with this, reach the other arm away from that hand and that foot. Make sure you're breathing. Sometimes we're trying so hard, we stop breathing, and it doesn't help anything. And we'll see what degree of control we can come out of this. Think of rewinding. Bring the hand back, swing the leg forward, bend the knee, release your grip, put your foot down, shake things out. I often don't come out of it that smoothly. The other side may be a hot mess on the coming out. Who knows? Let's find out. When you're ready, bring your hands to your heart. Shift from one leg to the other, feet planted. Reset your hips and reground your feet. Reset your gaze on something that won't move. When you're ready, bring the weight into your right leg. Lift your left knee. Right knee stays soft and responsive. Right hand pressing to the sternum. Left hand comes down, finds its grip on your foot or your leg. Extend your foot forward. Open out to the side. And maybe extend your right arm. Makes it hard to talk. Sometimes it's not this steady. Sometimes it's more amusing than steady. But we play. I like to think of it as play and not work. Play with these things. And over time, each posture, each sequence can develop, can strengthen, can deepen. You can go further. It's a practice. That's why it's best to do it every day. And now we'll play with a very different kind of balance. Also playing with standing on one leg. Working into the hip joints in a different manner. Hands at your heart. Shift side to side. We start the same way. Feet planted, eyes straight ahead. Bring your weight into your left leg. Raise your right knee. Then cross your ankle over your left knee. Dial your right knee towards the ground. Flex your right toes towards your shin. Pressing both hands together into your sternum. Release in the front of your left hip, and the back of your left knee, and the front of your left ankle. Spine stays long. Think about your elbows approaching your knee and your foot, or maybe it's your ankle. Sometimes we touch down, sometimes we don't. But either way, we're exploring into the hips here and strengthening that leg, using some core strength, using breath. Now, when you do make the contact of arms on leg and foot, it's nicely steadying. And if you're down low, you might, as you slowly inhale and straighten the left leg, you might try holding your leg with your hands. Release, shake it out. It feels really neat in the hip when you can do that. It's not essential to do that. It's a nice thing when you get there. Plus, added bonus, it looks funny. It looks like you detached your leg. Bring your hands to your heart. When you're ready, shift side to side. When you're ready, bring the weight into your right leg. Pick up your left knee. Cross your ankle. Turn your knee towards the floor. Flex your toes towards your shin. Start to release. Remember, pressing your hands to your sternum and to each other draws energy to the midline of the body and helps steady the whole thing, helps ease the transition. And maybe you fall and start over. Happens to all of us. Seem to be having a good day today, and I haven't fallen. Some of that's practice, some of that's luck, I think. When you're ready, slowly inhale, straighten your right leg, uncross, release, shake things out. And let's have a seat. That is enough for the leg work, I think. And we'll start into some forward folds. I'm looking at this screen and this camera and thinking, yeah, you're not going to be able to see my feet and my legs. Equipment adjustment, okay, that's better for seating. Were my feet off camera the whole time? I'll find out later when I look at the video. Extend your legs forward. Flex your feet back towards you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over your legs. If your knees want to bend here, let them bend. As you inhale, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. As you exhale, think of lowering down. Maybe the fold deepens, maybe they're just thoughts. Inhaling slowly, walk your hands up the front of your legs and sit yourself up. Now let your arms help your legs open out to whatever degree they can, the edge of your comfort zone. Walk your hands down your legs as far as you can. Maybe it's to your knees, your shins, maybe ankles, maybe feet. Just see where you can go. Take your time, bring your left hand over by your right hand and take a couple breaths. Open your right arm out to the side, turn your head, follow your hand. Rotate your arm so your thumb points down, bend your elbow and bring the back of your hand to your lower back. So maybe it's at your sacrum, maybe it's over to your left hip, maybe it's somewhere between. Peel your right shoulder back. Extend the arm again, rotate, turn the thumb up, and slide that hand back over by your left hand. Move your left hand slowly over to your left leg or left foot. And move your right hand over to join the left. Take a couple breaths. Slowly sweep your arm out, turn your head to look towards your hand. Rotate the arm, turn your thumb down. Bend your elbow, reach the back of your hand across. Towards your opposite hip. Maybe it gets there, maybe it doesn't. Peel your left shoulder back. Extend your arm. Rotate forward. Slide that hand back over by your right hand. And bring your right hand back over to the right side. And walk your hands up the front of your legs. Inhaling, sit yourself up. Nudge your legs towards each other with your arms. Bring the soles of your feet together. Far away. So big distance between the heels and the pelvis. Feet as far out as they can be and still be together. Soles together and feet on the ground. Reach under your ankles and grab the floor. If that doesn't work for you, reach over your ankles and grab the floor. Not everyone can reach under their ankles like that. Reaching over works too. Walk your hands forward, make a pretzel. Let your neck disengage, let your head drop towards the ground. Breathe into the center of your lower back. Start to walk your hands back, pressed up to a seat. Soles of the feet together. Now draw your heels in as close as you can, right in by your pelvis. Interlace your fingers, grab the tops of your toes. Wriggle on your seat, bring the bones in your seat closer to the ground, tilting your pelvis. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward with a long spine. See how far down that long spine will go. When the long spine isn't lowering anymore, let the neck go. Breathe into your hips. And here your elbows might press down against the inside of your legs, nudging your hips open. Inhale, slowly sit yourself up. Bring your hands to the outsides of your legs, like closing a book. Push your knees towards each other. Rest your feet on the floor. With your feet planted, reach your arms forward. See how far back you can sit without lifting your feet or tipping over onto your back, wherever that is for you. You're going to play with some leg movements, do a little core work. Lift your feet a little, take a couple of breaths. If you need to, you can grab your legs with your hands. Think of the highest you can lift your leg, go halfway there, take a couple of breaths. Lift your feet as high as you can, take a couple of breaths. Lower halfway for a couple of breaths. Lower most of the way, not all the way. If you can help it, take a couple of breaths. Let your feet land. Plant your hands outside your hips. Wiggle your feet further apart. If you're on a yoga mat, maybe to the edges of the mat. Bring your feet somewhere a little wider than your shoulders. Let your knees go back and forth. And it's okay if your knees don't touch down like mine are doing. The first time I did this, they didn't do that. Bring your feet in closer. You can set this much space between your hips, so you can put a yoga block in the middle position between the tops of your feet. I said that wrong. This is the space between your hip sockets. You're setting that space between your feet. Having trouble with words today. Bring your hands behind you, feet planted like that. Scoot towards your heels, and down onto your arms, and down onto your back. So you wind up lying down on your back with your heels as close to your butt as they'll go. Now, if you have yoga blocks, you might place one between your knees on that same position, the middle position. Then your knees, like your ankles, will be the same distance apart as your hips. Press into the soles of your feet. And inhale, lift your hips towards the ceiling for bridge pose. If you want to go further here, you could wriggle your shoulder blades towards each other and clasp your hands under you and reach your knuckles towards your heels. Hips reaching up, knees drawing forward toward the toes, neck relaxed, not scrunched up. If you're clasping your hands, unclasp them. Exhale, slowly come on down. And explore bridge pose for a minute as you like. Inhale to lift up and exhale to come down. To make it more challenging, maybe you move more slowly or come up higher or take extra breaths at the top. Maybe you repeat, moving your shoulder blades in, finding the hands reaching knuckles towards heels. Maybe you'd rather take extra breaths at the bottom of the movement. Maybe wheel is in your practice. If so, you could explore wheel instead of exploring more bridge. For wheel pose, we bring the fingertips to the floor above the shoulders here. Press the hands to the floor. And then pressing into hands and feet, we lift the hips. Ooh. Okay, so some days I can do that. This is not one of those days. I thought it was a wheel day and I was wrong. My body said, no, we're not going to do that today. I'll try again Thursday. There were years where I couldn't do wheel at all. Some days I can do it, some days I can't. I was wrong in my estimation of which day today is. In the next couple of breaths, wrap up your exploration of your wheel or your bridge. We'll all meet back down on the ground and just pause there for a couple of breaths. Funny thing when working with the kids or with anyone who's done gymnastics, what we call wheel in yoga, in gymnastics they call bridge. What we call bridge in yoga, I don't think they do. I don't know. Anyway, bring your knees towards your chest and hug your knees and rock and roll on your back. We'll take a twist with our knees crossed. Cross your left knee over your right knee. If that doesn't work for you, you could also just cross your left ankle over your right knee. Reach your arms to the sides. Feel your shoulder blades pressing to the floor. You want to keep the shoulders on the floor. Let your legs fall to the right and turn your head to the left. And you might scoot your hips to the left to let the legs come further, let the twist go deeper. Slowly bring your head and your knees back to center and cross your legs the other way. Take your other twist, let your legs go to the left and your head go to the right. I had to scoot my hips over. I was getting too close to these decorative pillows that have been set up as my background here. Come back up to center. Uncross your legs. Draw your knees towards your chest. Reach your feet up. Reach your hands up to grab your legs or your feet and play with bending and straightening your arms and legs in happy baby pose. You might also here, if you want, explore gorilla on her back, which is gorilla was the thing where we stood on our hands. So from down here, you can press the palms to the bottoms of the feet and then play with lengthening your legs. I like to say lengthening, not straightening. I can straighten my leg, but it's okay if you can't. There was a time when I couldn't. I don't know if I can do them both at once. I can, but it's quite all right if you can't. It feels pretty darn good in the backs of my leg. Stretching from the toes all the way to the glutes, the whole back line. Play with inverting however you want and for as long as you want. I like to invert for at least a minute. I think that's bare minimum. When you feel complete with your inverting time, you can make your way to your final resting pose. So maybe that's corpse pose with your legs extended and your feet splayed open, your hands resting outside your hips. If this is not comfortable, get comfortable. You can conclude your practice in whatever posture is comfortable for you to lie quietly still breathing for a couple minutes, integrating the benefits of your practice. You might simply focus on your breathing as it slows down and gets deeper. You might recall an intention you set at the start of practice to reflect upon it. Or you might just set your mind free to wander. You might scan your body as we did at the start of practice, checking in with how everything feels, noticing whatever sensations are there, but also tuning in to specifically check in on any areas that were speaking up at the start of practice, anything that you made notes of, things you wanted to take particular care of. How are those parts and those areas feeling? How are the parts we focused on in practice more feeling today? Maybe your Shavasana feels different based on what we did for the backs of our legs, hips and glutes. I know for me, sometimes depending on the practice, I'll notice more outward rotation in the resting position of the legs in corpse pose. I think that's the case today. I think my pinky toes might be a little closer to the floor. Feet might be splayed out a bit more today. If as you scan your body, you still feel tightness, tense spots, maybe think of sending your breath to these spots. Imagine as you exhale that some of the tension is melting away. The knots are loosening, maybe even untying. You may even feel your body move a bit in response to these thoughts. Start to give yourself some deeper breaths. Invite movement to slowly return to your body. Starting small, letting your movements gradually grow bigger and bigger. When you're ready for bigger movements, take your time and gently make your way back up to some sitting or kneeling position. Bring your hands up by your heart. Thank you for gathering to share and practice today. The light within me sees, honors, and bows to that light within each of you. Namaste. Again, I'm Leo Bray coming to you from Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center here in Palm Springs. Please come visit us online at urbanyoga.org or Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook to check out our class schedule. We have classes every day. Sometimes we're out at Ruth Hardy Park in the mornings, Thursday through Sunday. You can join us in person with a mask and at a distance, of course. And we're on Zoom every day. And there is a tip jar that you can visit online. We can make contributions to support our Zoom classes. And questions and feedback are always welcome. That goes for the folks watching later on YouTube as well. Use the comments to give feedback. Thank you and have a great day.